This is Mr. Mike, and welcome to A Parts Life. Today I'm going to make a quick story time video about the worst inventory which I've ever done. The worst automotive parts inventory. Um, any sort of names, manufacturer names, employee names, dealership names are omitted. Don't ask. I won't tell you any of those details, but I will tell you what happened. So we go to do an inventory at about a $1 million inventory. So they're big boys, probably like 900,000 and change somewhere around there. But we'll use good old Top Gear math and make it a million. So we go to do the inventory. We show up, and outside the building, I see 10 broken windshields. These windshields are about $3,000 a piece dealer cost. All of them are smashed. All of them are junk. They came in damaged. So the parts manager, I asked what's going on with these, and the parts manager said, well, they came in damaged, so I didn't receive them. And that's when I went, okay, where's the credits? Well, the manufacturer is backed up for 6 months, so we haven't really been billed. That's why I didn't really make credits or credit requests. Let me explain something to you. All of us know that you get billed for these parts before they even leave the warehouse. Okay? They scan that thing to load it on a truck. It's charged to you before it leaves the threshold of that manufacturer. So anyway, we walk in there, and the department's a pretty big mess. There was almost no room for us to work on the counter. The counter was completely covered in just crap, junk all over the place. But we started to work. We print out the count sheets, and then we noticed that, $1 million inventory count sheets, probably the most I've seen is like this tall. This was about maybe that tall. Okay. And the reason why is it looked like they had moved dealerships at some point, whenever that was. And they had disassembled the Vidmars. They took all the trays out of them to move them. But when they reassembled them, they just slammed any tray wherever. So you had trays that would be 101A, and the tray below it was 510X, and the tray below that was SID3, and the tray after that was 817B. Like, it was crazy. So all these sheets were like printed way out of order. Nothing matched up right. And the parts manager's desk had about like this much paperwork all over it. You could barely see the keyboard and stuff. And then we start doing the inventory. And when the inventory began, what we noticed immediately are all these huge cases of aftermarket parts, fake aftermarket parts, like fake as in they were mimicking the manufacturer who this dealer was representing, but they were not actually made by that manufacturer. They weren't just gray market parts, they were just outright fraudulent. And then some aftermarket was mixed into that. And all the shipping labels were for so and so supply from the Great Lakes, from Wisconsin, from whatever. Just a total disaster. Thousands of filters, literally thousands. Like, the ceilings in this place were probably 50 feet high, and these boxes were stacked like the height of the ceiling. Okay? That's how bad we're talking. So we start doing this inventory, and it's just a nightmare. Everything's a write-in. Nothing's correct. Nothing is matching up. We're finding new parts that are worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. I'm not talking about finding like a bolts and nuts. We're finding headlights that are $5,000. We're finding door actuators that are over 1,000 a piece. Like, just crazy things. And the same goes for the flip side of it. There's missing, this, that, and the other, just stuff that's worth thousands of dollars. And then the batteries were somehow double receipted in. So they were literally, The batteries that were on hand, what was in the system was double of what was on the actual shelf. And the parts manager was totally distraught. Um, couldn't really answer any of our questions. And also couldn't provide the paperwork for any pending credits, packing slips, billed not receipted, whatever, any of those things. Didn't know anything at all. Claimed that the manufacturer was backed up for months in terms of their billing, which is nuts. But we asked, why do you have all these aftermarket parts? And we got told that, well, it's because the factory ones are on back order. But we had actually done that same brand of store about a week prior, and it counted all of those same OEM parts. And we had asked the parts manager, who said that I asked about, are there any back orders, and he said really no, and these don't typically go in back order. So we knew that there was a problem. But the craziest thing that we had kind of interpreted from the information that we were given is, so all these fake parts, they were in fact in the system under the OEM part number, the description, and the price. And what they were doing is, say the OEM filter cost $20, but these filters that they bought cost $5. They would receipt them into the system under the $20 part number and then post the difference to cost of sales when they receipted the parts. So cost of sales affects your gross profit. You plus things into it, it goes up. You minus things, it goes down. So they were literally being paid off that $15 spread in the GP the moment that the part was receipted into the system. And then when the part got sold, say the cost on it was $20 and retailed for 45 or 50 or 60, they would get paid off that gross profit again when the part was actually sold. And they were doing this to a ton of things, like PDIs were getting done, and they would hand the wheel lock, the lug nut, back to the parts counter person, the technicians would. And, most parts guys, when they get those, they throw them in a drawer. You need a lug nut later or whatever. You pull it out, give it to somebody, and get it over with. Well, they were putting the thing into the inventory, actually receipting it in. And again, from what I understand, were being paid off that gross profit as they receipted the part in before they even sold it. And then once it was sold, they were getting paid again. But the biggest thing on top of that was, of course, these thousands of filters. Everybody knows how they get them. Okay, we're not stupid. We do this for a living. You get those phone calls, 10 times a day, and the dude's telling you, you buy 10,000 clips, I'll send you an iPad, I'll send you this, I'll send you that, I'll send you whatever. So pretty obvious that this person was getting paid on the side, then was getting paid as the part was being receipted in, and then was getting paid as the part was being sold. And when we were done with the inventory, the variance was $173,000 to the negative. Okay. We thought we made a mistake. We started looking through the variance, which the variance was something like, I don't know, 85 or 100 pages. The variance was the size of what a lot of the inventory pads that we do are. Literally, we do inventories where it's 130, 150, 160,000. This variance was 173 grand to the negative. And we sat there reading through all this stuff over and over and over and over, and there were no mistakes. We went and verified the variance, and we were correct. So the department lost 173 grand during that inventory, and all these sort of rocks got kicked over and looked under and so forth and so forth. So be this as a lesson to all you parts managers and fixed operations directors and GMs and even owners that may be watching this. This type of stuff goes on. So my recommendation to everybody to cover your rear end is have a meeting. Should be the general manager and the office manager or the controller. And you should have a list of approved vendors and why those vendors are approved. And they should be all legitimate brick and mortar stores that you can visit if you have an issue with the parts that you bought. With the exception of like maybe Grainger or Worth, those guys, to set up an account with them for, shop supplies or whatever you need. But again, it has to be a list of reputable companies that aren't cold calling you all day from private phone numbers that you can't even return the call to. Never ever buy anything from anyone who has to bribe you to make you buy it. So you know that that's wrong. We all know that that's wrong. So make that list of approved vendors, AutoZone, Napa, Advanced Auto Parts, brick and mortar stores, and have one or two online vendors Worth, Grainger, or even maybe Amazon Business or something, and let your office know to not cut checks to any other vendor no matter what. Set that rule in place in case one of your counter guys decides to order 5,000 clips because they're going to get $1,000 iPad or whatever. Or if you're a general manager, set that rule in place so your parts guy doesn't, walk home with 15 new iPads because they bought enough filters to last through the next 20 world wars. But anyway, so there's my story time for today. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Any questions, I'll try to make a video on it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.